Welcome to this audiobook summary of The Art of the Deal, a book that's part autobiography, part business manual, and entirely Donald Trump. Published in 1987 by Donald J. Trump with co-author Tony Schwartz, this New York Times bestseller offers a front-row seat to the mind of a man who thrives on the thrill of the deal. It's a story of ambition, negotiation, and unrelenting drive, told through a week in Trump's life and the deals that shaped his empire. Whether you admire him or not, Trump's voice leaps off the page, brash, confident, and unapologetic. Over the next hour, we'll explore his journey, his strategies, and the outcomes of his high-stakes gambles. So, settle in, and let's dive into the world of Donald Trump, where every deal is an art form. Chapter 1. Dealing, a week in the life. Imagine it's Monday morning, 6 a.m., in Trump Tower. Donald Trump's already awake, flipping through the New York Times and Wall Street Journal, scanning for opportunities. By 9 o'clock, he's at his desk, no briefcase, door open, ready for action. I play it very loose, he writes. I don't schedule too many meetings. You can't be imaginative or entrepreneurial if you've got too much structure. This is Trump's rhythm, fluid, fast, and relentless. He fields 50 to 100 calls a day, squeezes in a dozen impromptu meetings, most under 15 minutes, and rarely stops for lunch. A can of tomato juice at 3 p.m. is his fuel. He's out by 6:30, but the phone keeps buzzing at home till midnight, even weekends. It never stops, he says, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Monday kicks off with a call to Alan Ace Greenberg at Bear Stearns. Trump's been buying Holiday in stock, over 1 million shares, for percent of the company, and it's up to $65 a share, partly because Wall Street's buzzing about a takeover. He's coy. Maybe he'll go for control, maybe he'll cash out. At 9:30, Abe Hirschfeld calls, seeking political advice. Stick with Cuomo or switch teams. Trump says it's a no-brainer. Back the winner. At 10 o'clock, he's thanking Don Imus for raising cash to save Annabelle Hill's Georgia farm, a cause Trump bulldozed into after threatening a bank with a murder lawsuit. It's a wild move, but it works, raising $40,000 by week's end. Tuesday's a blur. Ivan Boesky's selling the Beverly Hills Hotel, and Trump's sniffing a deal with Steve Rubel to run it. Greenberg calls again. Holiday's up, execs are panicking. Wednesday, he's at Woolman Rink, shoveling concrete for the cameras, turning a city flop into his triumph. Thursday, he's back with Hirschfeld, nudging him toward Cuomo. Every day's a high-wire act. Stock plays, charity stunts, casino talks, even a school visit with Ivana. He's juggling kids, deals, and critics, all while plotting his next move. I try to learn from the past, he writes, but I plan for the future by focusing on the present. That's where the fun is. This chapter isn't just a diary. It's Trump showing us his chaos is controlled, his swagger strategic. He thrives on the unpredictability, turning every call into a canvas for his deal-making art. Real-world examples of Chapter 1, Dealing, a week in the life. So, how does Trump's chaotic, deal-driven week hold up in the real world? Let's fast forward from 1987 to today, April 6, 2025, and look at 3 examples of leaders living this high-octane style. Take Elon Musk, Tesla's trailblazer. Picture him in 2023, juggling a dozen calls a day, SpaceX launches, Twitter chaos, Tesla production. Like Trump, he thrives on loose structure, tweeting ideas at 3 a.m., meeting engineers on a whim. When Tesla faced a battery shortage, Musk didn't schedule a committee. He flew to suppliers, cut deals, and kept the line moving. His week's a whirlwind, mirroring Trump's, fueled by instinct over bureaucracy. In 2024, Tesla's stock soared after he pivoted to AI-powered cars, proving chaos can breed success. Then there's Sarah Blakely, Spanx founder turned billionaire. Back in 2019, she'd start her day scanning retail trends, then bounce between calls with designers, impromptu store visits, and brainstorming sessions, all without a rigid calendar. When a competitor undercut her shapewear line, she didn't retreat. She launched a viral campaign, turning Spanx into a cultural must-have again. Her days echo Trump's, fast, flexible, and relentless, culminating in a 2021 valuation bump when Blackstone bought a stake for $1.2 billion. Finally, consider Jeff Bezos during Amazon's 2020 pandemic boom. Reports paint him rising early, digesting data, then diving into a flurry of calls, warehouse logistics, AWS glitches, Whole Foods pivots. No lunch breaks, just quick decisions. When supply chains buckled, Bezos personally negotiated with shippers, keeping Amazon Prime humming. His week's intensity rivals Trump's, and by 2021, Amazon's revenue hit $470 billion, a testament to thriving in the storm. These modern titans embody Chapter 1's lesson. Structure's overrated when you've got vision and hustle. Like Trump, they turn a frenetic pace into a competitive edge. Chapter 2. Trump Cards, the elements of the deal. Now, Trump pulls back the curtain. Chapter 2. Trump Cards is his manifesto, 11 principles distilled from years of wheeling and dealing. My style of deal-making is quite simple and straightforward, he says. I aim very high, and then I just keep pushing and pushing and pushing to get what I'm after. Let's break them down. First, think big. Trump doesn't mess with small potatoes. If you're going to be thinking anyway, you might as well think big. He dreams of skyscrapers, not duplexes. Next, protect the downside and the upside will take care of itself. He's a risk taker, but not a fool. Every deal has an escape hatch. Maximize your options follows. Never lock yourself in. With holiday inns, he could buy, sell, or negotiate a buyback. Flexibility is power. Know your market is key. Trump doesn't rely on consultants. He talks to cabbies, doormen, regular folks. I like to find out what people want firsthand. Use your leverage. Find what the other side needs and squeeze it. He threatened that bank for Annabelle Hill, and they folded. Enhance your location. Sometimes hype beats reality. Trump Tower's Tiffany location wasn't just Fifth Avenue. It was his branding magic. Get the word out. Promotion is everything. I play to people's fantasies, he admits, turning Woolman Rink into a media circus. Fight back. Never let a slight slide. He sues contractors, battles critics, even writes cranky letters to the New York Times. Deliver the goods. Talks cheap. Results matter. Woolman opened early and under budget because Trump delivered. Contain the costs. Watch every dime. He brags about negotiating Mar-a-Lago down to $8 million from $25 million. Finally, have fun. If it can't be fun, what's the point? Deals are his adrenaline, his joy. These aren't abstract rules. They're Trump's DNA, forged in the fire of deals like the Commodore and Trump Tower, where he turned vision into victory. Real-world examples of Chapter 2. Now let's test Trump's Trump cards in the wild. We'll pick 5 principles and match them with real-world wins from the past decade. Start with Think Big. Look at Disney's Bob Iger in 2019. He didn't just tweak theme parks. He spearheaded the $71 billion Fox acquisition, snagging Marvel, Star Wars, and more. Disney Plus launched that year, hitting 100 million subscribers by 2021. Iger thought skyscraper big, and it paid off. Disney's market cap soared past $300 billion by 2025. Protect the downside? Enter Warren Buffett. In 2020, amid COVID chaos, he bought Dominion Energy's gas assets for $10 billion. Critics balked, but Buffett locked in steady cash flow while keeping Berkshire Hathaway's war chest at $150 billion. Safe downside, massive upside. By 2024, those assets were pumping profits as energy demand rebounded. Maximize your option shines with Netflix's Reed Hastings. In 2018, facing streaming wars, he didn't bet on one path. He greenlit originals like Stranger Things, inked deals with stars like Shonda Rhimes, and kept licensing old hits. When HBO Max stumbled, Netflix pivoted, hitting 270 million subscribers by 2023. Options maximized, dominance secured. Use your leverage? Oprah Winfrey nails it. In 2017, she negotiated a Weight Watchers stake, leveraging her personal brand. When WW faltered, she pushed a health-focused rebrand, starring in ads herself. By 2022, WW's stock tripled. Her influence was the hammer that cracked the deal wide open. Lastly, get the word out. Think of Rihanna's Fenty Beauty launch in 2017. She didn't just sell makeup. She hyped inclusivity, 40 shades for all skin tones, via Instagram and star-studded events. The buzz exploded, and Fenty raked in $570 million in 15 months. Like Trump's Woolman Rink spectacle, Rihanna turned promotion into profit. These examples prove Trump's cards aren't just bravado, they're blueprints. From Musk's chaos to Rihanna's hype, the principles hold, adapting to new eras while keeping that Trumpian edge. Chapter 3. Growing Up. Picture a young Donald Trump, a towhead kid in Jamaica Estates, Queens, in the 1950s. It's a leafy, middle-class enclave, and his father, Fred Trump, is the neighborhood's real estate kingpin. Fred's a self-made man who started building garages at 16 and grew into a developer of sturdy, no-frills homes, thousands of them across Brooklyn and Queens. He was a great builder and a tough negotiator, Trump writes, and he taught me the value of hard work. Fred's days began at dawn, inspecting sites in his beat-up Chevy, clipboard in hand, squeezing every penny from every project. Donald soaked it up, trailing his dad to construction sites, learning the nuts and bolts of brick and mortar. But Fred wasn't just a taskmaster. He was a paradox, strict yet generous. Trump recalls Fred slipping cash to struggling tenants, a quiet kindness beneath his gruff exterior. At home, though, discipline ruled. When Donald, a rambunctious second son among 5 siblings, pushed boundaries, think throwing cake at a birthday party, Fred sent him to New York Military Academy at 13. I was a wise guy, Trump admits, and it straightened me out. There, he thrived, captaining the baseball team, shining shoes for parades, and discovering he loved competition more than chaos. School wasn't his passion. Fordham bored him after 2 years, but real estate was. He transferred to Wharton at the University of Pennsylvania, drawn to its finance program. I wanted to learn about money and deals, he says. Weekends, he'd ditch campus for Queens, shadowing Fred on rent collections, eyeing tenants, plotting his own path. Fred's world was steady, rental apartments, government-backed loans, but Donald dreamed bigger. I respected what my father did, he writes, but I wanted Manhattan, the glamour, the stakes. At 22, with a Wharton degree and a fire in his gut, he joined the family business, ready to break out. This chapter's Trump unfiltered, a kid shaped by a relentless father, a military school's rigor, and an itch for something grander. I learned about toughness in a very tough business, he says. It's the origin story of a dealmaker itching to leap from Queens to the skyline. Real-world examples of Chapter 3, Growing Up. Chapter 3 is about roots, family lessons, discipline, and ambition breaking free. Let's see how those threads weave into 2025's real-world stories. First, meet Jensen Huang, NVIDIA CEO. Born in Taiwan, he landed in Kentucky as a teen, working as a dishwasher while his immigrant parents scraped by. Like Trump, he got a wake-up call, sent to a strict boarding school where he found focus. It taught me discipline, he said. At Stanford, he studied engineering, but his real education came from his parents' hustle. By 2023, NVIDIA's AI chips dominated, pushing its market cap past $2 trillion. Huang's drive mirrors Trump's: humble beginnings, tough love, and a leap to the big leagues. Next, Spanx's Sarah Blakely again. Growing up in Florida, her dad was a trial lawyer who'd quiz her on failure at dinner, teaching resilience, not perfection. He'd ask, "What did you fail at today?" she recalls. No military school, but selling door-to-door fax machines in her 20s was her boot camp. By 2000, she'd bootstrapped Spanx with $5,000, turning it into a billion-dollar empire by 2021. Like Trump, she learned grit from family, then chased a bigger stage, retail, not rentals. Then there's LeBron James, NBA legend turned mogul. Raised by a single mom in Akron, Ohio, he dodged trouble through basketball structure, coaches drilling discipline like Trump's military academy. Sports saved me, he said. Off the court, his dad's absence fueled ambition. By 2024, his Spring Hill company was valued at $725 million, producing hits like Space Jam 2. LeBron's Queens to Manhattan arc? Akron to Hollywood, with family lessons as the spark. These stories echo Chapter 3, tough upbringings, mentors shaping character, and a hunger to transcend. Trump's not alone. His roots resonate across industries. Chapter 4, The Cincinnati Kid, Prudence Pays. Fast forward to 1971. Trump's 25, fresh from Wharton, and itching to prove himself beyond Fred's shadow. His first big swing isn't in New York, it's in Cincinnati, Ohio, a 1,200-unit apartment complex called Swifton Village. Fred's the lead, buying it out of foreclosure for $5.7 million, a steal for a sprawling property once worth triple that. The catch? It's a mess, half-empty, crime-ridden, bleeding cash. It was a classic case of buying low, Trump writes, but I learned you've got to be careful even with a bargain. Donald dives in, managing the turnaround. He's hands-on, repainting buildings, fixing plumbing, screening tenants. I wasn't above getting my hands dirty, he says. Fred's thrift shines through. They slap cheap aluminum siding on brick exteriors, dodging costly repairs. It's not pretty, but it works. Occupancy climbs to 100%. Trump learns the market, chatting up residents, gauging what keeps them happy. You don't need fancy reports, he insists. Talk to people. Then comes the pivot. By 1974, Cincinnati's shifting, subsidized tenants are moving out, and the property's peaking. Fred wants to hold, but Donald pushes to sell. I had a gut feeling, he recalls. They list it for $11 million, nearly doubling their money. A buyer bites, and the deal closes, cash in hand, no debt. It's a win, but Trump's reflective. We could have waited and maybe gotten more, but prudence pays. He sidestepped a market dip that hit later, locking in profit over risk. This isn't the glitzy Trump of Trump Tower. It's a younger version, testing his wings, balancing ambition with caution. I learned to protect the downside, he writes, and to trust my instincts. Swifton's not a skyscraper. It's a lesson in timing, grit, and knowing when to walk away. Real-world examples of Chapter 4, The Cincinnati Kid, Prudence Pays. Chapter 4 is about prudence, buying smart, fixing fast, and knowing when to cash out. Let's test it with 3 21st-century examples. Start with Whitney Wolfe Herd, Bumble's founder. In 2014, she spotted a foreclosure of sorts, a gap in dating apps after leaving Tinder amid drama. She bought in low, launching Bumble with a $1 million seed round. Like Trump at Swifton, she worked the ground game, tweaking the app, targeting college campuses, building buzz. By 2020, Bumble's user base hit 100 million. Then, prudence kicked in. She took it public in 2021 at a $13 billion valuation, locking in gains before competitors like Hinge surged. Profit doubled, risk dodged, Swifton vibes all over. Next, look at Grant Cardone, real estate tycoon. In 2012, he snagged a distressed apartment complex in Florida for $18 million, 600 units, half vacant, a Cincinnati parallel. He rolled up his sleeves, renovated units, tightened management, pushed occupancy to 95%. By 2018, he sold for $42 million, a $24 million flip. I don't fall in love with properties, he said, echoing Trump's exit instinct. Cardone's prudence turned a fixer-upper into a fortune, timing the market just right. Finally, consider Airbnb's Brian Chesky. In 2020, COVID tanked travel, and Airbnb's valuation plummeted. Chesky bought low, cutting costs, refocusing on local stays, while rivals floundered. He didn't overbuild, he streamlined. By 2022, travel rebounded, and Airbnb's revenue hit $8.4 billion, with a $100 billion market cap. He exited the crisis leaner, stronger, prudence paying off as bookings soared past pre-pandemic levels by 2024. Chapter 5, The Move to Manhattan. It's the early 1970s, and Donald Trump's restless. He's 27, fresh off the Cincinnati win, but Queens feels small, too safe, too predictable. I'd watched my father do well, he writes, but I wanted something more dramatic, more exciting. Manhattan's calling, a shimmering skyline of risk and reward. He's got a Wharton degree, a chunk of Fred Trump's business, and a hunger to break free. I saw Manhattan as the center of the universe, he says, and I wanted in. He starts small, renting a dingy studio on 3rd Avenue, $250 a month, a mattress on the floor. By day, he's scouring the city, eyeing distressed properties, sniffing out deals. New York's in a slump. Crime's up, businesses are fleeing, buildings are crumbling. Trump sees gold in the rubble. When things are bad, he writes, that's when the best opportunities come. His first nibble? A foreclosure sale on West 34th Street, an apartment building he snags with Fred's backing. It's a toehold, not a triumph, but it's Manhattan. Then, he spots the Penn Central Railroad's fire sale. The company's bankrupt, unloading 60th Street rail yards, 76 acres of prime West Side land. Trump's got no cash for it, but he's got nerve. He pitches the sellers, the banks, even the city, promising a grand redevelopment. At 27, with no track record, he lands an option to buy for $62 million, a steal for land that could reshape the city. I didn't have the money, he admits, but I had the vision. He spends years pitching plans, housing, offices, a convention center, while dodging payments. By 1979, he flips the option to another developer for $100 million, pocketing a profit without breaking ground. This chapter's Trump unbound, a brash kid betting on himself, turning New York's chaos into his playground. I learned to think big, he writes, and to use other people's money. It's not all wins. The West Side yards linger unfinished in 1987, but it's a declaration. Trump's here, and he's not playing small. Real-world examples of Chapter 5, the move to Manhattan. Chapter 5's about bold leaps, leaving the nest, betting on chaos, thinking big. Let's see it in 2025's real-world players. Take Daniel Ek, Spotify's founder. In 2006, he's a Swedish techie, 23, with a knack for coding but no global stage. Stockholm's his Queens, solid but small. He moves to the Manhattan of tech, Silicon Valley's orbit, launching Spotify in 2008. Music piracy's peaking, labels are panicking. X sees opportunity. With little cash, he pitches labels on streaming, securing deals with vision alone. By 2023, Spotify's 550 million users dwarf competitors, and its $50 billion valuation proves the leap paid off. Like Trump, Ek bet on a crumbling market and built his empire. Next, Kylie Jenner. At 18 in 2015, she's a reality star in Calabasas, comfortable, but not enough. She eyes cosmetics, Manhattan, a $500 billion industry. With $250,000, she launches Kylie Lip Kits, betting on Instagram's chaos to sell direct. No stores, just hype. By 2019, she's a billionaire, self-made or not, debate rages, flipping her stake for $600 million to Cody. Her West Side yards. A risky pivot to skincare in 2024, still unfolding, but pure Trumpian ambition. Then Jack Ma. In 1999, he's a teacher in Hangzhou, China's backwater. He leaps to the Manhattan of e-commerce, founding Alibaba in a crumbling apartment. Banks scoff, but Ma pitches a vision, online markets for a rising China. Using others' money, soft loans, angel cash, he builds a giant. By 2014, Alibaba's $25 billion IPO stuns Wall Street. In 2025, it's a $600 billion behemoth. Ma's move mirrors Trump's, bold, borrowed, triumphant. Chapter 6, Grand Hotel, reviving 42nd Street. Now, Trump's ready to build something real. It's 1974, and Midtown's a mess. Times Square's seedy, Grand Central's fading, and the Commodore Hotel on 42nd Street is a ghost. Once a jewel, it's now hemorrhaging cash. Its owner, Penn Central, desperate to unload. Trump, still green at 27, sees a diamond in the rough. It was in the perfect location, he writes, but it needed a total rebirth. He moves fast, optioning the property for $10 million, a fraction of its potential. The catch? It's a gamble. The city's broke, banks are skittish, and the hotel's a wreck. Dingy rooms, peeling paint, a revolving door of losses. Trump's undeterred. He pitches Hyatt, a chain with no New York footprint, on a partnership. I sold them on the dream, he says. They bite, agreeing to manage it if he can pull it off. The real hurdle's the financing. Trump needs $70 million to gut and rebuild. New glass facade, modern guts, 1,400 rooms. Banks laugh, too risky, too young. So he gets creative. He lobbies the city for a tax abatement, arguing it'll spark Midtown's revival. After months of arm-twisting, dinners with officials, promises of jobs, he scores a 40-year tax break, slashing costs by $160 million over time. Leverage is everything, he writes. With that, banks relent, and construction starts in 1978. By 1980, the Grand Hyatt opens, gleaming, luxurious, a stark contrast to 42 ND Street's grit. It's a hit, pulling in guests, turning profits, and proving Trump can deliver. I took a dying hotel and made it a star, he brags. The deal's his calling card, Manhattan's new kid, swinging big and winning. It's not just a building, it's a statement. Real-world examples of Chapter 6, Grand Hotel, reviving 42nd Street. Chapter 6 about revival, spotting a relic, leveraging every angle, delivering a win. Let's test it today. First, Adam Neumann, WeWork's wild card. In 2010, he sees dying office spaces in New York. Empty, outdated, Trump's Commodore vibe. He options cheap leases, pitches a co-working dream to landlords and VCs, promising urban renewal. With charisma, not cash, he secures $47 million early funding. By 2019, WeWork's valued at $47 billion, turning drab buildings into hip hubs. The 2021 crash humbled him, but by 2024, his new venture, Flow, revives multifamily rentals, $1 billion raised, proving he's still swinging. Next, Detroit's Dan Gilbert. In 2010, the city's a ghost town, bankrupt, buildings vacant. Gilbert, a billionaire via Quicken Loans, buys up downtown relics for pennies, like Trump's $10 million Commodore Steel. He leverages tax breaks, sinking $5 billion into renovations, offices, lofts, retail. By 2023, Detroit's core pulses again, with 25,000 jobs added. His Bedrock Firm's portfolio hits $8 billion in 2025. It's Grand Hyatt Redux, revival through grit and government. Finally, Patagonia's Yvon Chouinard. In 2018, outdoor retail's fading, malls dying, brands struggling. He spots a Commodore, Patagonia's own legacy, and revamps it, pushing sustainability. No tax breaks, but he leverages brand loyalty, pledging profits to climate causes. By 2022, he sells the $3 billion company to a trust, ensuring its mission thrives. Sales hit $1.5 billion in 2024, revival with a twist, Trump-style delivery with a green heart. Chapter 7, Building Trump Tower. It's 1978, and Donald Trump's got his eyes on the prize, a prime slice of Fifth Avenue, home to the Bonwit Teller department store. It was the best location in the world, he writes, right next to Tiffany & Company, screaming for something big. He's 32, flush from the Commodore win, and ready to leave his mark. The site's got air rights, meaning he can build tall, and Trump's dreaming of a skyscraper that screams luxury. Step 1. Snag the land. Bonwit's lease is owned by Genesco, a cash-strapped company. Trump hounds them for years, offering $25 million in 1979. They cave, and he's in. Next, the air rights over Tiffany's, a tricky deal with Walter Hoving, Tiffany's chairman. Trump charms him over lunch, promising no shadows on their gem displays, and seals it for $5 million. I knew how to sell the sizzle, he says. Financing's the beast. $200 million to build 58 stories of condos, offices, and retail. Banks balk, but Trump leverages the Grand Hyatt's success, securing loans from Chase and Equitable. He pushes for extravagance. Pink Breccia Pernis marble, a 6-story atrium, bronze-tinted glass. People want fantasy, he writes. Construction starts in 1980, and he's on site daily, haggling with contractors, dodging union strikes. A zoning fight nearly derails it. He wants residential. The city says no, but he wins with a mixed-use plan. By 1983, Trump Tower opens, a shimmering giant pulling in Gucci, tourists, and millionaires. Condos sell for $10 million a pop. The atrium's a cash machine. Trump moves into the penthouse, a 3-level palace of marble and mirrors. It's my masterpiece, he brags. Cost overruns hit $20 million, but he shrugs. Sales cover it. This isn't just a building. It's Trump's brand in steel and glass, a bet on glamour that pays off big. Real-world examples of Chapter 7, Building Trump Tower. Chapter 7's about vision, snagging prime turf, pushing luxury, delivering a landmark. Let's see it in 2025's real world. First, Jeff Bezos and Amazon's HQ2. In 2017, he's hunting for a Fifth Avenue, a second headquarters. He pits cities against each other, landing on Arlington, Virginia, with $2.8 billion in tax breaks, Trump's abatement echo. Construction starts in 2019, towers, green spaces, a $2.5 billion price tag. By 2023, it's open, pulling tech talent, boosting local GDP by $17 billion annually. Bezos bets on prestige and wins, a modern Trump Tower in steel and code. Next, Rihanna's Finny empire. In 2019, she eyes fashion's prime location, luxury beauty and apparel. She partners with LVMH, securing a deal for Finny Maison in Paris Elite District. No marble, but savage branding. $570 million in beauty sales by 2018. Clothing lines hitting $200 million by 2024. Rihanna builds her tower on hype and exclusivity, a Fifth Avenue vibe in fabric and gloss. Then, Dubai's Emaar Properties. In 2014, Mohammed Alabar targets the Burj Al Arab's orbit, launching the $1 billion Dubai Creek Tower, set to top 3,000 feet. He haggles for land, leverages tourism buzz, and pushes opulence, glass spires, observation decks. By 2025, it's nearing completion, drawing millions, echoing Trump's skyscraper swagger. Sales. Pre-booked units hit $500 million already. Chapter 8. Gaming, the Atlantic City story. Now, Trump's chasing a different rush. It's 1980, and Atlantic City's buzzing. New Jersey legalized gambling in 1976, and casinos are sprouting. It was wide open, Trump writes, a chance to get in on the ground floor. He's 34, with Trump Tower rising, but he wants more. Cash flow, glitz, a new frontier. His first play, the Hilton's unfinished casino. They're denied a gaming license in 1982, and Trump pounces, buying it for $320 million with a partner, Holiday Inns. He rebrands it Trump Plaza, pushing slots over tables for bigger profits. I studied the market, he says, and saw what worked. It opens in 1984, raking in cash, $241 million by 1987. Next, he spots Trump's Castle, another Hilton project. In 1985, he buys it for $352 million, puts Ivana in charge, and watches it soar, $298 million in revenue by 87. Then, the big one, Resorts International's Taj Mahal. Founder Jim Crosby dies in 1986, leaving a half-built behemoth. Trump swoops in, buying stock to control 73% by 1987. Rival Marvin Rothman predicts doom, too big, too risky, but Trump's unfazed. I love proving people wrong, he writes. He's got $675 million in junk bonds lined up to finish it, promising 3,000 slots, 12,000 square feet of gaming, pure excess. By the book's end, it's still under construction, but Trump's betting it'll dwarf the rest. Atlantic City's his sandbox, high stakes, high rewards. He leverages partners, hypes the brand, and dives in deep. It's like Monopoly, he says, only the money's real. Risks loom, debts piling up, but in 1987, he's riding high, a casino king in the making. Real-world examples of Chapter 8, Gaming, the Atlantic City story. Chapter 8's about gambling, jumping into a hot market, leveraging risks, chasing cash flow. Let's test it today. Start with Elon Musk and Tesla's Gigafactory Shanghai. In 2018, China's EV market is Atlantic City, new, risky, ripe. Musk bets big, securing $1.4 billion in loans from Chinese banks, Trump's junk bond echo. He builds fast. Production starts in 2019, pumping out 500,000 cars by 2022. Revenue? $23 billion in 2024. Critics warn of debt, but Musk's grinning, a casino king in batteries. Next, DraftKings' Jason Robins. In 2018, U.S. sports betting legalizes, a new gaming frontier. Robbins pivots from fantasy sports, raising $400 million to dominate online wagering. By 2023, DraftKings pulls $3.5 billion in revenue, 15 million users hooked. He leverages tech and hype, dodging early losses like Trump with Trump Plaza. In 2025, it's a $20 billion giant, pure Atlantic City hustle. Finally, Tillman Fertitta and the Houston Rockets. In 2017, he spots a casino, the NBA team, undervalued at $2.2 billion. He buys with debt, revamps marketing, and pushes star James Harden. By 2022, the Rockets' value hits $4 billion. Fertitta's Golden Nugget casinos cross-promote, adding $1 billion in gaming cash. Risky? Sure. But in 2025, he's laughing, a Trump-style roll of the dice. Chapter 9. Ice Capita, Rebuilding Woolman Rink. It's 1986, and Central Park's Woolman Rink is a disgrace. For 6 years, New York City's been botching its renovation. $12 million blown on a concrete slab that won't freeze, pipes that leak, deadlines that vanish. It was a total embarrassment, Trump writes, and I couldn't stand watching it from my window. He's 40, riding high from Trump Tower, and he sees a chance to flex, fix the rink, shame the city, when the headlines. Trump fires off a letter to Mayor Ed Koch in May. I'll rebuild it in 4 months for $2.5 million, my gift to New York. Koch, prickly and skeptical, greenlights it, maybe hoping Trump flops. He doesn't. Trump calls in experts, Canadian ice pros, not city hacks, ditches the failed Freon system for simple brine, and gets to work. I didn't reinvent the wheel, he says. I just did it right. He's on site daily, barking at contractors, slashing costs, down to $1.95 million by the end. November 1986 rolls around, and Woolman reopens. 2 months early, $750,000 under budget. Skaters flood in. The press eats it up. Trump shovels concrete at the ribbon cutting, grinning as Coke fumes. First-year profits hit nearly $500,000, donated to charity. I showed how incompetent the city was, he crows, and how I could deliver. It's not just ice. It's Trump as the can-do savior, turning a civic mess into his victory lap. Real-world examples of Chapter 9, Ice Capita, Rebuilding Woolman Rink. Chapter 9's about stepping in, fixing what's broken, and winning big. Let's see it in 2025's real world. First, Elon Musk and Starlink. By 2020, rural internet's a mess, slow, spotty, a Woolman of connectivity. Musk jumps in, promising global broadband via satellites. Critics scoff, too pricey, too risky, but he deploys 3,000 satellites by 2022, undercutting bloated telecoms. By 2025, Starlink's 200 million users pay $10 billion yearly, all from a $3 billion build-out. Musk delivers where governments flail, a Trumpian triumph with rockets instead of ice. Next, Jamie Oliver, chef turned reformer. In 2015, UK school lunches are a disaster. Junk food, obesity spiking. Oliver steps up, vowing to overhaul them. He battles bureaucrats, launches Feed Me Better, and by 2017, forces healthier menus nationwide. Sugar down 30%, kids thriving. No profit, but his rep soars. 2024 sees his foundation raise $50 million for nutrition. Like Trump, he fixes a public flop, camera ready. Then, Patagonia's Yvon Chouinard again. In 2020, fast fashion's trashing the planet, landfills bulging, rivers died. He pledges to clean it up, pushing Patagonia's worn wear program, repairing gear, cutting waste. By 2023, it's fixed 500,000 items, slashing emissions by 700,000 tons. Sales jumped $200 million in 2025. Chouinard's Woolman? A green win, proving efficiency beats inertia. Chapter 10, Television City, 60 acres on the Hudson. Now, Trump's thinking colossal. It's 1985, and he's eyeing 78 acres of West Side rail yards along the Hudson River, land he'd optioned a decade earlier. It was the best undeveloped site in the world, he writes, and I got it for a song, $100 million. The seller's Franco Macri, an Argentine developer drowning in debt, and Trump pounces, leveraging the man's desperation. His vision? Television City, a mini metropolis with 8,000 apartments, a shopping mall, TV studios for NBC, and a 1,670-foot tower, the world's tallest. I wanted to outdo everything, he says. He's wooing NBC, dangling tax breaks to lure them from New Jersey. The city's his partner, or foe. Mayor Koch hates the idea, calling it gaudy, blocking zoning for the tower. Trump fires back, labeling Koch corrupt and a moron in the press. He's killing jobs, Trump fumes. By 1987, it's a stalemate. Trump's got the land, $500 million in tentative financing, and a model dazzling enough for magazine covers. But Koch won't budge, and NBC's wavering. I'll get it done, Trump vows, because I don't give up. The chapter ends unresolved, Television City's a dream in progress, a testament to his appetite for scale and his knack for fighting City Hall. History notes it morphs later into Riverside South, but in '87, it's pure Trump, bold, brash, and unfinished. Real-world examples of Chapter 10, Television City, 60 acres on the Hudson. Chapter 10's about megavision, snagging big land, dreaming huge, fighting the system. Let's test it today. Start with Saudi Arabia's Mohammed bin Salman and NEOM. In 2017, he grabs 10,000 square miles of desert, a Hudson of sand, for $500 billion. His Television City? A $1 trillion futuristic city, solar-powered, robot-run, 170 miles long. By 2025, the line's first phase hums, 50,000 residents, $20 billion invested. Critics call it folly. MBS battles red tape and doubters, Trump style, betting on scale to stun the world. Next, Jeff Bezos and Blue Origin. In 2019, he eyes space's 60 acres, a new frontier. He sinks $1 billion yearly into a lunar base, pitching NASA on colonization. By 2024, New Glenn rockets launch, and a $3 billion NASA deal lands. Blue's beating SpaceX at its game. Bezos fights regulators, dreams massive, a television city in orbit, still unfolding. Finally, China's Evergrande, revived. In 2021, it's bankrupt, holding 300 million square feet of land, a distressed rail yard. New CEO Hui Ka-yin reboots in 2023, pitching a $50 billion megacity, housing, tech hubs, green space. By 2025, 1 million residents move in, debts halved. Hui leverages government aid, defies skeptics, and builds big, Trump's Hudson Redux. Chapter 11, Low Rent, High Stakes. It's 1985, and Donald Trump's not just about skyscrapers and casinos. I love the big deals, he writes, but the small ones keep the machine running. Chapter 11's a grab bag of side hustles, proof he's always hunting value, even in the margins. Take Mar-a-Lago, Palm Beach's grandest estate, 118 rooms, 17 acres, built by Marjorie Merriweather Post, is languishing. The Post Foundation can't unload it. Upkeep's a killer at $1 million a year. Trump smells a steal. He offers $15 million in 1981. They scoff. He waits, then swoops in 1985 for $8 million. $5 million for the house, $3 million for furnishings. I played hardball, he says, and got it for a fraction. By '87, it's his Winter Palace, a club in the works, flipping a rich man's burden into gold. Then, the Boeing 727. Diamond Shamrock's unloading a jet, $30 million new, but Trump sniffs a deal. He haggles, lands it for $8 million in 1981. 3 engines, 140 seats, pure luxury. It's my chariot, he brags, decking it out with his logo. By '87, it's ferrying him coast to coast, a bargain turned status symbol. Smaller still, the Trump Shuttle. Eastern Airlines shuttle service, New York to D.C., is faltering in 1987. Trump options it for $365 million, betting on business travelers. It's not glamorous, he admits, but it's steady cash. He's right. By '89, it's his a low-rent win amid high-stakes plays. There's more, $1 million for Annabelle Hill's farm rescue, a $500,000 stake in a Broadway flop he flips for PR. These deals aren't the headlines, he writes, but they're the glue. It's Trump the opportunist, small bets, big leverage, always winning. Real-world examples of Chapter 11, low rent, high stakes. Chapter 11's about small stakes with big payoffs, snagging deals, flipping value. Let's see it in 2025. First, Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks. In 2000, the NBA team's a dud, $280 million in losses. Cuban buys for $285 million, a Mar-a-Lago steal. He tweaks it, better seats, louder fans, and by 2011, they're champions. In 2024, he sells a stake at a $4 billion valuation, pocketing $1 billion. Low rent, high return, Trump's playbook in sneakers. Next, Oprah and OWN. In 2011, her network's flailing, $330 million in the red. She grabs control, negotiates with Discovery for $70 million in cash infusions, and pivots to hits like Queen Sugar. By 2023, OWN's profitable, valued at $1 billion. I saw the bones, she said, a 727 style bargain turned empire glue. Then, Gary Vaynerchuk. In 2017, he spots sneaker reselling. Kits hype drops are cheap on eBay. He invests $500,000, flips thousands of pairs, and by 2020, nets $10 million via his VaynerMedia hustle. In 2025, his NFT side gig pulls $50 million. Small bets compound. He says, Trump's shuttle and digital kicks. Chapter 12. Fantasy, a week in the life. Now, Trump rewinds to a week in October 1987, a victory lap after a decade of deals. It's fantasy brought to life, he writes, and I'm loving every minute. This isn't Chapter 1's chaos, it's curated triumph. Monday starts with Trump Plaza's parking garage opening in Atlantic City. A crane collapse delayed it, but it's done, doubling slots revenue to $500,000 daily. Tuesday, he's at Trump's castle, where Ivana's turned it into the city's top earner, $1 million weekly profit. She's a killer, he says, beaming. Wednesday, the Trump Golden Series limos roll out, a Chrysler deal netting $50,000 per car. Flashy and profitable, he grins. Thursday's personal, his Trump Tower penthouse renovation wraps. Marble, gold, a $10 million view. It's my castle, he writes. Friday, he's on the 727, flying to a resort's international meeting. The Taj Mahal's on track, $675 million in bonds secured. Saturday, he's back in New York, fielding calls. NBC's still teasing Television City, Mar-a-Lago's club plans hum. Sunday, golf at his New Palm Beach course, plotting the next move. Real-world examples of Chapter 12. Fantasy, a week in the life. Chapter 12's a curated peek, when stacking, empire humming. Let's test it in 2025's real world. Start with Beyoncé. Imagine her week, March 2025. Monday, her Ivy Park X Adidas line drops, pulling $100 million in sales. Trump's limo vibe. Tuesday, she's at a Renaissance tour wrap, 80 shows netting $500 million. Wednesday, her Parkwood studio greenlights a Netflix hit, $20 million upfront. Thursday, she's in her $88 million Bel Air mansion, freshly renovated. Friday, a title deal with Jay-Z boosts streams 30%. It's curated glory, Trump's 87 in sequence. Next, Tim Cook, Apple CEO. Picture October 2024. Monday, the iPhone 16 launches, $50 billion in pre-orders. Tuesday, Apple TV Plus snags an Emmy for Severance. Wednesday, a new Cupertino campus wing opens, $1 billion, sleek as Trump Tower. Thursday, AirPods Pro 3 debut, $5 billion projected. Friday, he's on a jet to Shanghai, sealing a $10 billion factory deal. A week of wins, Trump's fantasy in tech. Finally, Serena Williams. Say it's June 2025. Monday, her Serena Ventures fund exits a startup, $50 million profit. Tuesday, her Win Beauty line hits $10 million in sales. Wednesday, a Nike collab drops, $5 million in hours. Thursday, she's at her Florida estate, upgraded for $20 million. Friday, a Wimbledon cameo boosts her docuseries views 40%. Empire on display. Trump's week in tennis and cash. Chapter 13, Deal Mania. It's the mid-1980s, and Donald Trump's a deal-making cyclone. I was on a roll, he writes, and I couldn't stop. Chapter 13's a roller coaster. High-stakes plays that show him juggling millions like Monopoly money. First, the stock market. Holiday Inns, 1985. Trump buys 1.2 million shares, 5% of the company, driving the price from $50 to $70. Rumors swirl, takeover or sell-off. He keeps M guessing, then flips most for a profit, $10 million, not the rumored $35 million, but still sweet. I love the game, he says. Next, Bally Manufacturing. He grabs 9.9% in 1986, 600,000 shares at $18 each. Bally sues, fearing a raid. Trump countersues. They panic, buying the golden nugget for $62 million to block him. He sells at $35 a share, $21 million haul. Leverage is everything, he grins. Then, sports, the USFL. In 1983, he buys the New Jersey Generals for $8 million, dreaming of NFL rivalry. The league sues the NFL for monopoly in '86, wins, but gets $1 in damages. A moral victory. Trump insists, pushing an appeal. It's a long shot, but he's hooked. $30 million sunk, no regrets. Moscow's a wild card. July 1987. He's in Russia, pitching a luxury hotel within tourist. The Soviets want me, he writes. No deal yet, just talks, dinners, a $5 million site tease. But he's planting seeds. Back home, Resorts International's Taj Mahal deal heats up, $135 per share locked in, fending off a $140 bidder. I outmaneuvered them, he brags. This is Trump unleashed, stocks, sports, global gambles. It's deal mania, he says, and I thrive on it. Risks pile up, debt's creeping, the USFL's bleeding, but in '87, he's invincible, a whirlwind of wins and what-ifs. Real-world examples of Chapter 13, Deal Mania. Chapter 13's a frenzy, fast deals, big risks, constant motion. Let's see it in 2025's real world. First, Chamath Palihapitiya, SPAC King. In 2020, he's buying stakes, Virgin Galactic, Open Door, via blank check companies. He grabs 10% of Clover Health for $100 million in 2021. Critics scream bubble. He flips it by 2023, $300 million profit as telehealth booms. Next, a $50 million bet on SoFi, sold in 2024 for $150 million. I play the edges, he said, Trump stock mania in Silicon Valley. Next, Dana White and UFC. In 2016, he's in deal mode, buys out fighters' contracts cheap, then sells UFC to WMG for $4 billion, keeping a stake. By 2023, he's in Abu Dhabi, inking a $500 million events deal. In 2025, a $100 million esports pivot nets $50 million in months. I'm always moving, he echoes, Trump's USFL hustle in octagons. Then, Bernard Arnault, LVMH titan. In 2019, he snags Tiffany & Company for $16.2 billion. Stocks soar, a Bally-style coup. In 2024, he's in China, securing a $1 billion retail expansion. Rivals bulk, he wins. Net worth hits $200 billion by 2025. Opportunities are everywhere, he said, Trump's deal mania in luxury. Chapter 14. What's next? The future. Now, Trump slows down, just for a moment. It's late 1987, and he's 41, atop an empire, Trump Tower gleaming, casinos humming, Mar-a-Lago shining. I've spent 20 years building, he writes, and I'm proud of it. Chapter 14's his exhale, a look back, a peek forward. He's reflective. I don't do it for the money. I've got more than I'll ever need. It's the art, the thrill. The winds flash by, Grand Hyatt's revival, Woolman's ice, Atlantic City's cash. But he's not done. The biggest challenge now, he muses, is figuring out creative ways to give back. Philanthropy? Maybe. Annabelle Hill's farm hints at it. More deals? Definitely. I'll keep doing big ones, he vows, right around the clock. He teases dreams, a Moscow tower, television city's rise, the Taj Mahal's debut. What's next, he asks. I don't know, and that's half the fun. No retirement here, just a pivot, blending conquest with contribution. It's Trump at a crossroads, savoring the past, hungry for more. The future's wide open, he writes, and I'm ready. Real-world examples of Chapter 14. What's next? The future. Chapter 14's reflection and ambition, savoring success, eyeing legacy. Let's test it today. Start with Melinda Gates. By 2021, she's built a $10 billion fortune via Microsoft and philanthropy. Post-divorce, she pivots. Pivotal Ventures pumps $1 billion into women's equity by 2023. In 2025, she's launching a $500 million global health fund, reflecting, I've built it. Now I give back. Success secured, future-wide, Trump's teas and grants. Next, Jack Dorsey. In 2022, he's atop Twitter and Square, $100 billion combined value. He steps back, muses on legacy. I've done the tech thing. By 2024, he's pushing Bitcoin via Block, aiming for a $50 billion crypto economy. In 2025, a $200 million Africa fund launches, Tech plus Purpose. What's next keeps me going, he said, Trump's blend of drive and dream. Finally, Arianna Huffington. In 2016, she sells HuffPost for $315 million, a peak. She reflects, I built a voice. By 2020, Thrive Global's her give back, $100 million in wellness revenue by 2023. In 2025, a $50 million mental health app debuts. Legacy meets ambition. The future's about impact, she says, Trump's closing note in mindfulness. Conclusion of The Art of the Deal. Picture Donald Trump in late 1987, perched atop Trump Tower's penthouse, gazing over Manhattan's glittering sprawl. At 41, he's just penned The Art of the Deal with Tony Schwartz, a book that's part memoir, part playbook, and all bravado. Over 14 chapters, he's taken us from Queens' gritty streets to Atlantic City's neon glow, from a kid trailing his father Fred to a mogul reshaping skylines. As we close this journey on April 6, 2025, let's step back and see the full canvas. Trump's art, his wins, his world. This is the conclusion of The Art of the Deal, a tale of deals done and dreams still simmering. It starts with a week, Chapter 1's whirlwind of calls and chaos, where Trump's juggling Holiday Inn stock, saving Annabelle Hill's farm, and plotting his next move. I play it loose, he says, setting the tone. Life's a deal, and he's the artist. From there, he hands us his trump cards in Chapter 2. Think big, protect the downside, maximize options. These aren't just rules, they're his pulse, beating through every story. Rewind to Queens in Chapter 3, where Fred's thrift and toughness mold a restless son. Chapter 4's Cincinnati flip, Swifton Village, shows a young Trump learning prudence, doubling cash on a fixer-upper. Then, Manhattan beckons in Chapter 5, and he leaps, snagging rail yards with borrowed bravado. Chapter SIX's Grand Hyatt deal turns a dying Commodore into a gleaming win, tax breaks and all. Trump Tower rises in Chapter 7, a marble-clad monument to his name, built on charm and hustle. Chapter 8 dives into Atlantic City's casino game, Plaza, Castle, Taj Mahal, where risks stack as high as the profits. Woolman Rink's rebirth in Chapter 9 is Trump the Fixer, shaming City Hall with ice and grit. Chapter 10's Television City dreams of a Hudson empire, unfinished in 87, but audacious as ever. Chapter 11 flips the small stuff. Mar-a-Lago for $8 million, a 727 jet for the same, proving even low rent pays big. Chapter 12's Fantasy Week in 87 ties it tight, casinos humming, limos rolling, a penthouse perfected. Chapter 13's Deal Mania is Trump unhinged, stock plays like Bally, the USFL's quixotic fight, a Moscow tease. Finally, Chapter 14 pauses. What's next, he asks. 20 years of building, he muses, and 20 more to give back, creatively, of course. I don't know what's coming, he writes, and that's the thrill. So, what's the art of the deal leave us with? A man who lives for the chase. Money's secondary, the game's the prize. From Queens to Fifth Avenue, he's relentless, spotting value in decay, leveraging every angle, hyping every win. The Commodore's a jewel, Woolman's a jab, the Taj a gamble. He's brash, suing critics, blasting coke, but he delivers. Towers rise, rinks freeze, profits flow. Critics call it boastful. Asterisk Publishers Weekly Asterisk dubbed it engagingly boastful, but readers lapped it up, millions sold, a 1980s icon born. The book's a time capsule, greed is good swagger, shoulder pads, and big hair. Yet, its lessons stick. Think big, fight back, have fun. Trump's empire in 87, $3 billion, he claims, is a peak, but cracks loom. The 90s bring bankruptcies, the 2000s a TV reboot, the 2010s a presidency. The art doesn't predict that. It's Trump at his prime, unscarred, unstoppable. He closes with a tease, more deals, a hint of giving. The future's wide open, he says, and in 87, it is Television City's a blueprint, Moscow's a whisper. History twists it, Riverside South rises, the Taj falters, but the spirit endures. Deals are my art form, he declares, and this book's his gallery. Bold strokes, Loud Colors, a self-portrait of a dealmaker who never stops. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and please remember to subscribe to receive notification of upcoming recordings. See you in next video.